things that I enjoyed when I kept thinking about the title of Living a Creative Life, what I decided to do is, in my creative way, this is my PowerPoint. I began this week filling out everything that I do on a quarterly or daily or weekly basis. And so these are the tools I use for me to live my creative life. And I know you can't read it all, but it gives me the point that I'm attempting to kind of communicate is every day I have a daily practice. And one of the things that today I'm going to talk about is this one right here. And Jody, if you can do this one in a second when you get a chance, we'll do it there. Back in November of last year, I began playing with the idea of the law of attraction. I mean, unity, everybody knows it. But I began going a deeper dive into that concept for me. So I came up with this. And I began to look into, is there such a word as magnetometer? I don't think so. I made it up completely. But basically, the idea is, okay, if I'm going to play with the whimsical idea about the law of attraction, how would I do it? And how would I look at it every day? And so, basically, I was going to bring out a box today, and I had Ellen find me a lab coat, and I was going to frizz my hair out like the guy in Back to the Future, and I said, that would be a great way of doing it, kind of this whole kind of crazy thing. But I would have had a box, and on the box, I would call it the iMag, or something like Steve Jobs would introduce about the iPhone, or whatever. But right now, it's a big, bulky box. And I actually have a smaller one that I look at every morning that says this. And what I would have on it is I would have a huge antenna that's like a megaphone to broadcast. And basically the idea is that I'm going to broadcast my thoughts, my creative thoughts, everything, conscious or unconscious. So I began, and then I also have all the bells and whistles. And so I'd have bells and whistles, all those things. And on top of the box, I would have this huge magnet that basically is, for me, I'm giving me a visual excitement about attracting to me everything that I'm thinking, and also, to be honest with you, things that I'm unconsciously thinking, in fact, had no clue that I had that thought. And so, and as I took a deeper dive into the law of attraction and people who write about it, basically they've got three concepts that I kept hearing from almost everybody. Ask, believe, and receive. I'm going, really that's pretty simple. It doesn't mean you believe if you ask it, and then the question is, do you actually believe that you deserve to receive it? Now, if I'm talking to a whole room of artists and we're in an art show, by 2 o'clock on Sunday, everyone was convinced no one loves their artwork. It is just inherent. In fact, it will run rampant amongst an art show that you'll begin to go down on yourself. What am I doing? Why did I do that? Why did I spend that money? I've got to drive all the way home. I spent 2 days and I had no results, or I had great results. And then the other is actually believing that you can receive it. Now, when I'm talking to a group artist, man, if I took a deeper dive here, I go, man, Tom, it's so easy to me. It comes so simple. Do I deserve it? Am I worthy of it? And I could talk to probably musicians and spiritual leaders and the whole gamut, and they go, I know what you're talking about. Well, I've experienced that. In fact, how many have had that thought? So one of the things is, as I began to look more at the law of attraction and how I could do it in a playful way, which was the whole idea for me, is if I can make it a game, I will do it, and also becomes enjoyable. But in there, it basically talked about the clarity of the intention. So I would have a clarity meter. Am I really believing? Good example. Let's do Celebrating Circle one day a month. Or are you willing to do 4 days a month and rent the space? I'm just asking you to consider it. Clarity of intention. Do you want to be an artist, or do you like to paint, but you don't really want to sell your artwork, don't want to take it out to shows? You know what I'm talking about here, and you can have many, many discussions. That's too much work. gosh, lugging it all around, it's hot, it's sweaty, how do you survive the summers, how do you drive all over the country doing what you like to do, or I don't really want to do that. But that's where clarity of intention, and you could probably take a deeper dive into what that really means. But the other part is vibrational frequency modulation. Now they talk about that in law of attraction, and it's like sort of what I call faith in, or you know what, here's my lip service, but do I really, really believe it when you're quiet by yourself at your easel or wherever you're creating? Do I really want to write that book? Or my dream is that a publisher calls me and says, I love what you're doing, I'll publish it all, send it all over the world, and I'll send you royalty checks. That fantasy, I don't know. I'll give you another example. This year I was at King William Fair. I have been at major shows around the United States, and the person next to me sold $20,000. And I'm going, how did that person do that? Just got back from Colorado. Every artist was selling work, $41,000, $58,000, $61,000. And I'm sitting there going, how did you get to that point? Where did you believe that your artwork is deserving of that much? Because I'm not there. Well, at afternoon on King William, which is a one-day show, I had sold $21,000. I'm going, I didn't even think that was possible. So I had a new paradigm, whatever the word is, that it began impossible. It may never happen again, or it may happen at every show since. But you understand, in the art world, I'm going, man, everybody at the fair that I've talked to, they knew, guess what Thom Ricks did? I mean, and they'll come to me and I'm going, how'd you know this? Man, it spread like wildfire. And of course, it probably didn't hurt that when I went out and talked, I said, you won't believe what just happened to me. That it is possible in a 7-hour show or a 6-hour or an 8-hour show. It's like, wow, that's livable, more than livable wage. So the other part is, so that's that vibration, and then of course a GPS. Now I don't know, but I like a GPS sometimes. You can go, I want to take the comfortable route, the scenic route, I want to take the fastest route. Well, that's no different to kind of in what I call an art career or whatever you're wanting to consider doing. So the part is, and there's all kinds of things where this box would have a speaker, so you're speaking into it. And it's also, you've got all the other things. And also the part that, at least for me, I've always believed on my good days, that I'm living in a friendly, supportive universe. And they're wanting, Thom, I want to support your creative process. You're getting up and talking, and I go to Ellen's and I'm looking on a table, and I thought it was one of those Girl Scout cookies that's got the mint inside. So I'm picking it up over there on the couch 40 minutes ago, and I'm going, man, this is a really stale cookie. I can't even get it open. And then I realized it's a piece of plastic. Now, the reason I brought it today is so that I don't sit there going, I'm going to get all serious on you. And I'm sitting there looking at this going, I can't believe 45 minutes ago I thought that was a real cookie. And I'm sitting there trying to break it up and I realize, man, that is a stale cookie. So part of that is helping me. I love talking about it. I love coaching. I love teaching. I've got people now beginning to come in from Seattle and Missouri and up in Wyoming to come in and study with Jody and I about how do you consider that you can make a living at your selling your art or selling your creative process? And I'm going, well, this is how I do it, and this is really the fall quarter. Now, the spring one would be entirely different, but basically, these are all the shows. These are the things I either do daily, even to the point here, I'm on a phone call most every morning with Gary, because he has a prosperity group, and there's probably 8, 10, dozen of us that show up every day, and there may be 1 or 2 some days, but I had to realize, man, I couldn't believe it. I had to work on this prosperity issue with myself and believability that my artwork is of worthiness, that this is my 51st year of being self-employed and an artist. Now I'm going, man, it seemed like just yesterday I started out, and the first year I made $300. Now that's not a huge amount of like, hey Thom, we love what you're doing. Go out there and take it on. But all I can tell you has been, I feel like yesterday I started and I'm like, man, it's been 51 years. That's a long time. And people go, congratulations. I'm going, I never thought of it that way. Other than the fact is that And I do love, somewhere here, I do love talking and encouraging others to live this creative life. Now, it may be painting, it may be music, it may be whatever, because to me, living a creative life is what I call living my dream. So, and I have to be honest with you, and Gary and Rudy may know about this all the time. This week was, I'm going, man, I'm talking about the law of attraction, and it's not been that great of a week. Do you really feel like you can get up here with a plastic cookie and talk in a way to convey, hey, I know it is possible to make a living in your creative life. If you said, Tom, how's it going to be next week? I have never known week to week, month to month, year to year. There have been a few times way back when I worked for NBC doing the courtroom sketches, and every 11 o'clock they flew them to New York for the John Chancellor. I said, man, I finally made it. There was other times I did this, and one time I got the Fiesta poster. Man, I finally made it. 1 week later, I'm going, that circus is gone. Now what are you going to do? Or you may have 3 or 4 weeks or whatever, but it's like, okay, now it's time to get creative. And it's no different than when I saw the title, Living a Creative Life. I'm going, I had to really stop. So what do I do? And so the part that was maybe fun, or maybe it was just my own exercise, I began to go, okay, what does that look like for me? And actually it was kind of fun, even though you can't read it at all. It was, wow, that's nice, I forgot about that. And this morning I was going, well, I love the morning quietness. I love really enjoying the coffee and the flowers and living out in the country. And then I even like looking up a word and kind of going, okay, what does that mean on different levels? And it's like, you know, I love the birds and the peaceful and the calmness. So then I looked up something, halcyon, I'm not even sure if that's the correct word, but it's like flourishing, robust, prospering. I like that. I don't know what that word means, but I like what it stands for. So I may add that. So one of the things that I thoroughly enjoy is almost every day when I'm painting, I will set my timer for 20 minutes. So I did it when I started the speech, and I sometimes will only paint for 20 minutes, and then sometimes I'll paint all day long, but I work in 20-minute increments. And it's like, I just looked and I got 7 minutes and going, normally when I get up here and I open my mouth, I'm going, man, what happened? 20 minutes, I'm going, oh my God, I got 7 more minutes of fill time. So I get a chance to expand on more of this, but one of the things that it kind of works for me is that whole 20-minute deal. So I'll set my watch on my phone and I'll hit 20-minute segments so that I realize I don't need to work all day on a painting or whatever I'm creating, but usually it's a painting. And at the end of 20, I go, that felt pretty good, I'd like to try another. And so sometimes I'll still go all day, but sometimes it's like, it's just not there today. I'm just not in the mood, or I'm not feeling it. There's something going on. It could be, man, monkey mind is going crazy, and I'm consumed with it. August and September are usually, in my world, what I call the leaner months until I hit the fall season. So I can tell that well, guess what? I'm getting a little bit anxious, and I don't know if it's that quadrant 2 that's the fear one, or it's just normal evolution. It's like I basically prayed all summer for rain, and I just had to wait. And now that we got back from Colorado, and the land is just going crazy with green grass, and I'm out there again enjoying it, but it was on somebody else's schedule as opposed to mine. And that's probably a bigger concept than I'm even grasping at the moment. But I see people kind of going, yeah. So it's sometimes even to surrender and even to surrender to the talk and going, okay, we can always stop it short and want to. But there are a couple questions that I love pondering things. So there's a couple questions. Jody, would you mind putting this one, either one of these, please? That I want you to kind of ponder, chew on, or let it marinate in you. Question number one. If you choose to go down this direction, what are you attracting in your life? And I'm not asking you to tell me or tell anybody else, but I do want you to chew on that, because the universe, at least what little bit I can understand about the law of attraction, it's given me exactly what my thoughts, conscious, unconscious, I'm drawing to. So that magnet is out there going, okay. And of course, I can tell it helps if I'm actually going, okay, this is a thought I'm going to have, and I'm owning the thought. It's the ones that I don't know, but I'm going, what's happening? So that would be question number one. I want you to come away with 3 takeaways today. Question number one, ponder this, whatever you want to do, but that's a good one to ponder. And then from there, you may want to begin to question or take a look at, non-judgmentally, what am I broadcasting out? In essence, what are my thoughts going out? Conscious or unconscious? Pretty major point, because especially for me, if it's unconscious, I'm going, I need to do a little work. I need to do a little internal detective work, because right now I'm drawing to me something that I don't think I'm wanting, but it's arriving, so that would tell me that I'm going somehow, somewhere in this universe, that magnet is picking up that signal. I mean, Esther Hicks, I loved her thoughts. You launch that thought, and then you launch this other one. Well, you can be, Tom, you're a successful artist, but I can't. So you understand, I love that idea of launching those thoughts and being aware you launched a positive one and you counterbalanced it with a negative one. Something to ponder. And then, of course, the other thing is, and I do this every day, each day, every morning, during my morning practice, or weekly, or whatever, I ask the question, what do I have faith in? Do I have faith in a prosperous universe? I'll even ask you, do you believe in a prosperous community circle? Celebration circle, do you believe that? Or do you believe in, oh, Tom, you don't understand, the economy's tough, you don't understand our audience, I don't care, but this is like, what did Jody told me, which wolf are you feeding? Well, I want to know, if I'm feeding it, I want to at least know I'm feeding it. So, but when I got back from Colorado, I'm going, holy mackerel, I did experience, guess what? That monkey mind's coming in, and I'm going, can I get to the first week of shows or the second week of October during what I call sometimes the summer doldrums? And then I have to, am I going into a little bit of depression? Am I going into fear? Am I going into whatever? And then Jody will say, how are you today? And I go, well, I have a roof on my head, I've got this great acreage, I've got this great relationship, I'm going, but for some reason, I'm going down this rabbit hole. Anyway, the other thing is, and every morning, I live in an abundant, prosperous, abundant universe. I think Gary says this every morning is prosperity prayer. And it's like, when I got on the board at Unity, he goes, first thing we heard is we're $21,000 and we need to do this service. And so this is the way I remember it. Gary and I put up $21 a piece. Let's begin planting the seeds, and hopefully we'll raise $21,000. But at the moment, it seemed like Mount Everest. And we just began by putting $21 in a check. I bet somebody in this room is going, Thursday night we're having an altar show. What do you think? Do you think we're going to have a good show? Are we going to think this? Or people are going to buy it? Do you think people are going online? Do you think anybody's going to show up? I bet that would be going on in my mind. So, and I'm not saying it's right or wrong, just be aware of it. Back to, are you broadcasting that thought? Or are you beginning to go, I am in the faith business. I'm going to trust. I speak faith. I teach faith. I teach art. Whatever it is, it's like, does that show up to, you are the most creative person? I go, yeah, I probably am. I'm not aware of that some days, but I probably am, that I'm able to even to articulate. And the other things is having supporting clients. So the reason I put a 20-minute timer on today, because I had a morning session. I'm hoping that I can and maybe encourage you to consider living a creative life, or even living your dream, or at least taking the baby step, like the $21 and you're trying to raise $21,000, baby step in the direction. Thank you very much.
As you believe and receive, I invite you to join us in a time of meditation as we sit here alone and together for a few moments, each in our own way, with eyes open or eyes closed. Won't you breathe into this moment and take your time. There's no rush, no right or wrong way to do this. Simply breathe into this moment and become present to your body, mind, and spirit. And allow yourself to rest, knowing that for the next few moments, there's nothing you need to do, nothing you need to make happen. You're invited to simply inhabit this space of willingness. Willingness to be shown. A willingness to take some small action toward living your dream. What is your dream? Can you feel it, see it, taste it, sense it? What is your soul's deepest desire? Perhaps it is to paint, or to sing, or to dance, to write a book. Perhaps it is a desire to be of service, to love and be loved. Perhaps your desire is to bring about world peace. Won't you know that whatever your dream is, whatever your soul dreams, that it is bigger than you. And in this moment, you do not need to see the bigness. You do not need to see the totality of it. Simply allow your heart to be led by your dreams. And if at any point you find yourself distracted by thoughts, feelings, sounds, simply notice and bring your attention back to your willingness to see, to feel, to be your dream. And then allow your breath to spark that dream, that intention. And with that breath, with that blessing, with your willingness, see yourself as a conscious co-creator of your dream, allowing it to come into manifestation. Feel this growing power moving in you, through you, as you, from you. Know that all of life is conspiring to support you at every turn with guides, teachers, helpers, and yes, challenges too. Each being brought to you is here to help you learn, to help you grow in the fullness of who you are and who you are becoming. feel too that this is not just for you, not just for your own personal benefit, but for the highest good of all. All truly being served through your willingness to experience, to expand, to express your dreams, to believe and to receive now and now and now. And so from this highest, broadest, widest, deepest dimension, won't you send forth your blessing out into the world? Send forth your willingness to be of service to others through your willingness to live your soul's dream and desire. Welcoming opportunities large and small, as you send forth your blessings to all of creation. Can you feel it? Believe it and receive it. And may you, may we, may all blessings be blessed. May all beings be blessed by our willingness to do just this. And so it is.